Hey everybody, this is GGB co-host Poppers. Today we're going to be getting into this Chargers, Rams winners and losers. Now this was, gotta say, pretty boring game overall. Not too much to write home about, but there were a couple winners and losers that I have to just mention right off the bat. Let's start with the quarterback situation. There's not many winners in that instance, in my opinion, because I don't think Bryce Perkins or Devlin Duck Hodges made any sort of play to make that either be the number 2 quarterback or be capped as a number 3 option. I honestly think they just roll with John Wolford this year. I gotta write Easton Stick. Easton Stick, I understand, didn't play much. Only went 7-7. He only threw 7 passes, but he did go 7-7 for 63 yards. He was accurate. I liked Easton Stick. Now I understand Easton Stick, he might not make this roster. Because honestly, if you're the Chargers, do you keep 3? And even if you don't want to keep 3, wouldn't you go with Chase Daniel as your backup QB? If you really want to compete for the playoffs, Chase Daniel is your best option, right? Right now, in my opinion, Chase Daniel's your best option at backup quarterback. So, if Justin Herbert goes down for a couple games, I mean, Chase Daniel can at least keep you in it. He's not going to make mistakes that lose you the game. And if Austin Eckler can carry you to victory, I mean, this is something that is conceivable within the realm of reality. I don't know if you trust Easton Stick at this point in his NFL career to put him on the field and be like, can you not make any mistakes to win this game? But honestly, if he couldn't, I don't think he could have a better outing. Again, he had a quarterback rating of 104.2. He had a good outing. He had a really good outing. I was really impressed with the kid. Larry Rountree is a player I'd like to point out. A winner in my opinion, because Larry Rountree was a player I didn't love coming out of college. Honestly, I didn't watch a lot of Missouri ball, though. I don't feel like a lot of people outside of Missouri fans watch a lot of Missouri football, but he really impressed me tonight. Let's be honest. If you look at the LA Chargers running back room, can you name another running back for the LA Chargers outside of Austin Eckler? Because right now you have Justin Jackson. Justin Jackson, 7th round pick in 2018 out of Northwestern. Are you excited with him if Austin Eckler goes down with an injury? Hell no. How about Joshua Kelly? Joshua Kelly, 4th round pick from last year. Sure, you would be excited if that 4th round pick did anything last year. Absolutely anything. For goodness sake, Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson were out for a game last year. He was the number 1 running back, and he was outshined by Kalen Ballage, who right now is on the outside looking in Pittsburgh. So, I don't think anyone's excited, any Chargers fans are excited to see Joshua Kelly get a lot of carries. Now, for running back spot, I think anyone can make a play for the number 2 spot. I don't think there's a large difference between Justin Jackson and Larry Rountree. Now, Larry Rountree, on the other hand, had a phenomenal game. He had 8 carries for 63 yards, averaged 7.9 yards per carry. Now, to compare that to Joshua Kelly, who is a player I don't love. I think I've been very adamant about my not love for this man, and I don't think he's very good. I think the same thing about Keyshawn Vaughn. I both think they were extremely overrated coming out of college, and I think they both proved me extremely correct in this regard. Joshua Kelly, on the other hand, had 8 carries for 19 yards. So, let's compare the two again. 8 carries, 63 yards by Rountree. 8 carries, 19 yards for Joshua Kelly. Average of 7.9 yards per carry, 2.4 yards per carry. Big difference in my mind. Larry Rountree is definitely making a play to either be the number 2 running back, but at the very least, be on this roster. Now I'm going to go to a couple of receivers I think definitely did themselves huge favors tonight. Let's start out with the LA Chargers receiving core in Joshua Palmer. Joshua Palmer, if you do not know, was a 3rd round pick this year out of Tennessee. Now, I was tossed him in the air. I didn't really love the pick. I'm going to be honest, I didn't love the pick because I thought there were better players on the board at that point in time. But Joshua Palmer is looking to prove me wrong. When I watched this game, 6 catches, 36 yards. He was only targeted 7 times, which means he caught almost every single one of his targets. Great game. Honestly, phenomenal game. Little clap there for Joshua Palmer. I think he's definitely making a play to be an impact player this year. Now, I think it might be a little bit difficult to break into the starting lineup just simply because you have Keenan Allen, who's one of the best in the NFL. You have Mike Williams, who's when he's on, he's a very on player. He's the he's the Chris Middleton of the receiver position, in my opinion. When he is on, he is a phenomenal receiver. It's going to be hard to beat him. When he's not on, he's off his game. It's really difficult to get him to catch anything. But then you have Jalen Guyton. Jalen Guyton is a guy that's been with the Chargers for a decent amount of time now. Second season, actually. Never mind, undrafted player out of North Texas. But he's done a great job with this roster. He's really worked. I feel like Jalen Guyton is the number 3, and I think he's earned that. Now, Joe Reed was a player that was really good last year, a 5th-round pick out of Virginia, that him and Herbert really had a connection with before he went down with an injury. So watch out for Joe Reed to be that number 14 person. But if Joshua Palmer can play this well, he can definitely be the number 4 or number 5 guy at the very least. Got to watch out for Joshua Palmer. But let's go to the LA Rams receiving core and some players I was really impressed with. Let's start off right off the bat with Jacob Harris. Jacob Harris is a guy for the Rams that I'm actually really interested to see how he turns out. Jacob Harris, right now, I can't find him on this. I can't find him on the depth chart of ESPN, which is insane because Jacob Harris was in fact drafted this year. He was a wide receiver / tight end out of UCF in the 4th round. So I don't understand how the heck you don't have him on the depth chart, at least behind Tyler Higbee. But right now, according to ESPN, he's not set to make the roster. I disagree from what I saw. Jacob Harris had 4 catches for 43 yards. Now, I was going back and forth on this one because I honestly thought at some points Jacob Harris really shined. And honestly, he looked really good. He was able to get open a lot. But he had a play that I thought was incomplete. And they called it complete, but I'm going to be honest, it didn't look like a catch. He was bobbling it out of bounds. I thought that was incomplete. And they had another play where he fumbled the ball. But if you can teach this guy ball security, he has the athleticism to be an elite tight end in this league. I'm really looking forward to see Jacob Harris's development throughout this year and maybe even into next year. And if he becomes a really good player. I'm going to go another winner here, Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell was a guy I thought was a little bit of a stretch by the Rams. He is a burner for sure, and I'm actually going to look forward to see Matthew Stafford burning, going deep with him a lot. I think it's going to be interesting to watch. I don't know if it's going to be interesting for anyone else to watch. Let's go to some losers here of the night. I'm going to go straight off the bat. Losers, it's the LA Rams. LA Rams passing QBs. Because right now, I think I mentioned it earlier, I don't know if I bring a third-string QB. Because for third-string QB, for me, it's either you got to drafted someone in like the 5th, 6th round, and you don't want them to be your backup, but you do want them on your team for future development, or you just want to keep 3. You think you have 3 solid options. Now, look at Washington. You're probably going to have Ryan Fitzpatrick, Kyle Allen, and Heineke. But right now, I don't think Bryce Perkins or Devlin Duck Hodges being a third-string QB in this league. I'm sorry. Devlin Duck Hodges, 11-19, only 85 yards, threw a pick. Bryce Perkins, 7-10, it's pretty good, but only threw for 42 yards and threw a touchdown pass for sure, but didn't look great. Now I'm going to go on the other hand, loser, again, the Rams. The rushing attack. If you don't know, the Rams lost Cam Akers, who was set to be their breakout back this year. He was set to be that. He was, if you're looking at players that could have a breakout sophomore year as a running back, you probably have J.K. Dobbins. You probably had Jonathan Taylor on that list. You probably had DeAndre Swift, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Cam Akers was on that list for most people. A lot of people were looking forward to see how they did this year, and then he tore his ACL. And suddenly the Rams are scrambling to find a backup running back because you had Darrell Henderson Jr. to be that number 2 back. Right now he is thrown into the number 1 role. Now he was a 3rd-round pick out of Memphis in 2019, so he should be able to fill that role. The goal is for him to be that man now. He needs to be able to step it up now that Cam Akers is gone. But who's the number 2 back?
because right now you're looking at Xavier Jones, which if you don't know who Xavier Jones is, he's a second season player out of SMU, undrafted. You have Jake Funk, a 6th round pick from Maryland this year, or was it 7th? Let me check real quick. It was a 7th round pick out of Maryland this year. And then you have Raymond Calais, who I believe was a 6th round pick seventh round pick by Tampa Bay. So not even the Rams, on a second team already last year. So you want to know what these players did? Xavier Jones had 7 carries for 21 yards, averaged 3 yards per carry, and yes, that was the best of the running backs today. Raymond Calais had 7 carries, 14 yards, 2 yards per carry. Jake Funk had 5 carries for 12 yards for 2.4 yards per carry. The best average rate for carrying was Bryce Perkins, the QB for this team. He had 4 carries for 23 yards. He had the longest run of the night, which was 12 yards. He averaged 5.8 yards per carry, and you might seriously consider moving Bryce Perkins to running back, because right now, this is not a good running back room outside of Darrell Henderson, and you might have to go the Derrick Henry route with Darrell Henderson and just hope that he can sustain that, which is going to be weird and interesting. But everybody, this is GGB Close Puppers. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Like and subscribe. Saying adios, amigos.